Hello YouTube, this is YoloBagels, and welcome back to another episode on my coin collection series. Today we'll be going over the odd denominations, and that includes the nickels and half dimes. I decided to put those two in there because I don't have as much as either, and I decided I'd rather keep them both in one somewhat long episode than two very short episodes. So we'll get started right in a second, and let's see. So here we have my 2-cent pieces. Now, first of all, yes, the U.S. Mint did issue 2-cent pieces. They were copper. They were minted from 1864 through 1869, I believe. It might have been later than that. It might have been 1872. I'm not very good on these smaller denominations. As I said, I'm not a very big collector of them. But it is neat to have just a couple. And first we'll be looking at this specific one. It is an 1864 copper 2-cent piece. Not in very good condition, but it's one of the better ones I have, mainly because of the lack of any corrosion or anything seriously wrong going on. Now you see that 1864? That is a beautiful Civil War date. It does have a little chip to the right of the two, but you can generally see it does have everything, at least most of the designs you want to see. It's not slicked out like some of my other ones. Now here is an 1865. It's somewhat slicked out. I actually kind of like the patina. As you can see, it's got some very nice coloring going on the left of the shield. And there is the wreath on the reverse. Let me get out a dime to show you guys, to kind of compare the sizes of these coins. I'll keep it right next to what I have down here. Move it up here. And here is another 2-cent piece. This is one of my favorite ones. I know it's corroded, but it does have very neat details. If you can see past the corrosion, you can actually start to see something of a line right here. Like, get my little pointer pen out. Now, if you look right about here, and right here, you can actually see like XF details lines, which I think is very neat because it's a coin that otherwise I wouldn't be able, or at least I wouldn't care enough to afford. Here's another 1865. 1864, 1865 are very common dates for this series. Now the reverse is a little bit better than the obverse on this one. I like how you can see it kind of pop out in the light right there. And yeah. So next, I believe, if I was correct earlier, this is the last date on of the series. Don't take me seriously with that. Don't take my word for it. But it is an 1869. And I believe this is the only really unique date that I have. It's not in very good condition. AG03 is what the Mylar says. Look at that detail. Oh. Or not the detail, but really the color. It has something of a circulated cameo effect where the fields are darker. Now for this part, we're going to be getting into kind of a really weird denomination. Even though it is somewhat strange, I really love this design and this really short-lasted denomination. So next we have the 3-cent pieces. Now yes, these did exist, and they did come in two different types of metals. One came in silver, and one came in nickel. So I'll be showing you guys what I have here. Most of these are just coals, nastied out, don't have a date. Basal state is what I call them. Yeah, you see how it's basically just a planchet now with a hole in it. But you can kind of see the 3-cent design on there. Get it on. So these were actually released because of the US changed the price on stamps. And as you guys may know, pennies were they were much bigger than they are today back then. So they decided to make a 3-cent piece to kind of make it easier for you to go down to the postal shop, the post office, and just spend your money there. You didn't have to carry around a whole big pouch of 3-cent pieces, or in this case, large cents. You could just have this small silver coin. Now, on this one, you can actually see something of a date. This is an 1853 3-cent piece with a Star of David and everything. You can sort of see the lettering, and it has a crescent thing going on right there. And then this is my best one. It's been in my typeset for a while. It's in another 1853. 1853 is the most common date for this one. But you can basically see all the details on there. That's why it's one of my favorite pieces. Because I love these little bunched up silver pieces. And right here is what I was talking about earlier, that not all of these were silver. This is a nickel 3-cent piece, an 1866. I don't believe it has a mint mark. I believe the mint mark was right here. Even if there was a mint mark, I wouldn't know. But I did buy this one, and the thing about this one specifically is that it came with a large amount of black gunk on it. So I took a soft sponge, and I didn't press down on it, but I did kind of brush it off very lightly, very slowly. You want to be careful, especially with something like a sponge, that you don't want to abrase the or in this case scratch and give it hairlines and possibly damage a beautiful coin. But I do love the detail on this one. You can see all the lines and everything going on there. Now on this next part, we'll be going over the half dimes. And now the thing about the half dimes is, no, they are not nickels. I know a lot of newer collectors, and myself included, when I was new to numismatics, would just kind of jokingly call these nickels. I'd find a Buffalo nickel or an old Jefferson nickel, and I'd call it a half dime, and I'd keep on calling that. Until one day I discovered that these things really do exist. Now these are some tiny little silver coins. They only made them during the early to pretty late 1800s. You don't see very many of them, but they're not very expensive until you get into the better ones. So here we start off. This is the first date that is not a Drake bust, which means Drake bust is basically a much older design, but this is an 1829 cat bust half dime. This is actually the best one I have. The best cat bust half dime I have. I have better seated liberties, you'll see in a moment. And here's a example of a seated liberty dime. 1854, I believe is the date on this one. And as you can see, it actually has arrows next to the date. There's a small story about that. Here, let's compare it with this one first. This is not very good condition. I believe this one was cleaned a while back. It's in the process of repatinating, so it's getting that little color back. But the story is, when they realized that they needed more silver in the half dimes, so they basically just took the design and they added the arrows onto there so it would include more silver and it would be heavier. So here's an 1829, another one, but this one's not as good. I got it for cheaper. Actually, no, I think I got it for the same price, but this was my very first half dime and I'm pretty sentimentally close to it. Here's an 1839 half dime. Another seated Liberty type. This is an earlier one. Not very good details. A lot of these are coals that I just got for very cheap, for very low pricing. You see this one's basically destroyed. I thought those were chop marks at first, and then they just ended up being damaged. Here's an 1854. Very beautiful. As you can see, it has the arrows there. Now this next piece that I'm about to show you guys, you might have seen it just a second ago when I moved it out of the way. This is one of my very favorite pieces because I bought it at Myrtle Beach. And also I spent about $15 on it. So I didn't buy it for that much, but it is beautiful. It is probably the crown jewel of this video and probably the best coin I've shown so far. And it is my oldest coin with original mint luster, just to get you an idea of what I have coming up. So here is an 1854 seated Liberty dime. Let me bring it closer to you guys. Are you gonna focus. There you go. And as you can see, it does have original mint luster. Yeah, there we go. It's hard to see with the plastic, but I couldn't break it out because I actually ran out of Mylars for it. So anyways, you can see it's actually protected, where the luster was kind of protected by the devices. So not exactly an uncirculated coin, but still pretty neat. But yeah, it's a very beautiful coin. I love the luster on there, absolutely. Zoom you guys out a little bit. Here is an 1858. Not as good condition, but I kind of like how strong the lettering is on there. Or not the lettering, but the date. See on the reverse, it's actually bent and polished, but I got it for about $2. So at that price, I really can't pass them up. Here's an 1860. This lasted during the Civil War. It was made around that period. It would have seen pretty much the whole thing. It's an O-mint, which since it was made in 1860, and it's an O-mint, we can kind of assume that it spent some time in the Confederate States, which is really cool because it was from New Orleans. So technically Confederate silver. I know they had a 1861 half dime or a half dollar. 1861 O. That was actually made by the Confederates. And next we have several shield nickels. I'm not a very big collector of shield nickels. A lot of people think that they're ugly. They get beaten up really quickly, as you can see, really nastily. People say that, I've heard people say that it looks like a grave. Like the graves of the soldiers who died during the Civil War, because this was made right after that time period. Just kind of skipping by. You can see the beautiful 5-cent on there, with the stars around it. I don't have very many, not any really high grade or very good examples of that. It's really just to show you guys. And next we are going to look into the nickels. Now here's a 1906 V nickel. Not much going on with this. I just wanted to show you guys since this is the one that's in my typeset and it's the best V nickel I currently have. Not too bad on the details either though. I mean, you can clearly see like the leaf feathers and the denticles that are going on there. Here is a 1938 Jefferson nickel, but it is uncirculated, so you can see it has a full cartwheel luster. Very beautiful coin, very high quality. I believe I got it for 45 cents, so I am not willing to pass it up at that price. So I took it a while ago. Not took it, but I bought it. Here is a 1943 silver war nickel, and this one also, as well as uncirculated. I got it for $2. It was actually one of the very first coins I ever bought, so just beautiful. You can see the big P at the top, P mint mark. Well, that marks the end of the odd denominations and 5-cent video. I recommend you guys give a like. Thank you for watching. Thank you for staying with me this far. And I will see you guys next time on the 10-cent video. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.